Okay, so today we're going to jump into something pretty powerful, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that, like, a shift in how we see ourselves
Hmm.
and how we see other people
Yeah.
can actually lead to, like,
Right.
real transformation.
Absolutely.
And we have a story that actually illustrates this beautifully.
Yeah.
A really simple encounter, but with, like, a surprisingly deep message about identity.
Right.
And so our goal in this little deep dive is to kind of explore this idea of identity
Hmm.
as it's presented in this story
Okay.
and see how it can kind of offer us a fresh and encouraging way to look at personal struggles.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so what's fascinating right away is how, like, a brief interaction
Yeah.
can have, like, such a lasting impact.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and our source material shares this anecdote about a businessman
Okay.
in New York City,
Mm.
and he's, on his way to Subway
Yeah.
and gives money to a beggar selling pencils.
Right. A common scene.
A common enough scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then
Yeah.
here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
Right as the train is about to leave,
Uh-huh.
the businessman, like, steps back out of the train,
Okay.
takes a few pencils,
Hmm.
and he tells the beggar, he's
Yeah.
like, "You're a businessman just like me.
Wow.
You have merchandise to sell
Yeah.
at a fair price."
Hmm.
And it's such a simple statement,
Yeah.
but it clearly landed with, like, force.
It sounds like it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really did.
So what happened?
Well, so months later,
Okay.
the original businessman
Mhm.
is approached by this well-dressed salesman.
Interesting.
And the salesman is like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I was that beggar."
Wow.
And he credits the businessman's statement with, like, restoring his self-respect.
Oh.
Like, he enabled him to see himself as someone with, like, value to offer,
Right.
not just someone asking for help.
It gave him his identity back as a
Yeah.
businessman.
So, okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
Okay, let's break it down.
Okay. It seems like the way we identify someone,
Mhm.
like the actual words we use,
Yeah.
can actually ignite, like, untapped potential within them. It's like this man's entire self-perception
Right.
shifted from beggar to businessman
Totally.
based on this, like, brief affirmation of his inherent capacity.
Yeah, it's interesting. Right.
Totally. And this is where our source material
Yeah.
makes a really interesting connection.
Okay.
It suggests that this principle can actually apply to, like, anyone grappling with personal struggles.
Okay.
And it draws this parallel to the concept of identity within, like, a religious context.
Uh-huh.
So the argument is that sometimes these struggles,
Yeah.
they persist because individuals have lost sight of or
Yeah.
don't fully grasp
Yeah.
their inherent worth and potential,
Okay.
like, within their faith.
Interesting.
So instead of, like, solely focusing on, like, weaknesses or failures,
Right.
the source proposes this alternative,
What's that?
reminding people of their inherent value
Yeah.
and their, like, righteousness within their belief system.
Okay.
And it even references how the Apostle Paul
Mm-hmm.
approached, like, the early church.
Yeah.
You know, he focused on their potential
Okay.
rather than just, like, their shortcomings.
I see.
So the thinking is
Yeah.
that by highlighting their inherent worth,
Uh-huh.
the price paid,
Yeah.
as the source mentions,
Right.
which within that faith signifies, like, their ultimate value.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like a powerful motivator for positive change.
Okay.
It encourages them to live in alignment with that, like, elevated identity.
I see.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
the key takeaway here
Okay.
really echoes the story of the beggar.
Yeah.
Just as he was empowered by being seen as a businessman,
Right.
people facing their own battles
Yeah.
can be uplifted by recognizing and embracing, like, a positive core identity,
Mm.
even amidst their struggles.
For sure.
It's about seeing the inherent value and potential,
Yeah.
even when it's not, like, immediately obvious.
Right. It underscores that profound effect of perspective.
Yeah.
And what's really compelling to me
Yeah.
is this idea that sometimes the most effective way to foster change isn't by dwelling on the negative,
Mm-hmm.
but by, like, illuminating
Yeah.
and affirming a positive identity that may already exist,
Yeah.
just waiting to be acknowledged.
That is powerful.
Yeah,
That's a powerful thought to carry with you.
it is.
So think about it.
Yeah.
The people in your own life,
Mm-hmm.
how might, like, intentionally shifting your perspective and
Yeah.
the way you speak to them
Uh-huh.
unlock some hidden potential or offer them a renewed sense of, like,
Right.
who they are,
Totally.
regardless of their current circumstances.
For sure.
What small act of recognition, your
Yeah.
own version of buying those pencils,
Right.
could you offer today?
Good question.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Of course, my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. Catch you next time.